Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Transient Knitter podcast. My name is Janet, and you can find me on Ravelry as the Fiberholic, and you can also find me on Instagram, the same name. Today is February 27th, and I came across a couple of neat things. On this day in 1827, New Orleans hosted its first Mardi Gras celebration. In 1922, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the 19th Amendment that guaranteed women the right to vote. Also, if today's your birthday, you were sharing your birthday with singer Josh Groban. He was born in 1981, and the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who was born in 1807. But most importantly, um, out of all these, famous things that have happened on today, February 27th means in I have only 23 more days to wait until I go on my holiday. So basically, in 23 days and 2 hours, my butt will be on a really small seat in the steerage compartment of an airplane. But, that's kind of what you gotta expect, right? When you don't want to pay for first class or can't really afford it. I mean, how many of us actually travel, in the back of a plane? Anyways, first of all, I would like to apologize for my voice, my very nasally voice. I've been battling a cold for the better part of a week, but I really wanted to get this out. Anyways, so here we go. Let's go with some socks. Um, because I actually have FOs. Now the thing is, I view myself as a very slow knitter. I really want to be faster. I really, really want to be faster, but I'm not. Okay, first from, shall we say, Operation Sock CPR, I finished these socks. Ta-da! The patterning is not quite the same on each because I don't know. They messed it up. Anyways, this is the Regia cotton, and I actually discovered why these were left left in the critical care department, because I really don't like knitting with a wool cotton blend for some reason. And it turns out I think I have about two more balls, or rather two more socks that have been stuck in the critical care department of the sock stash, or works in progress stash. But I'm glad I'm done, and it's going to be a bit of a time um, before I get to these again, before I get to that type of yarn again. Okay, another one I have. Now, I am an indie dyer, and my business is called uh, Crazy Dog Yarns, and you can find me on Etsy. Now, these guys, okay, these were knit out of my appropriately attired colorway. Yeah, my tablet just whistled at me. Um, Now these were knit. They're somewhere, but okay, they're knit out of a pattern. I was thinking doing the waffle pattern, and they ended up somewhere between the blueberry waffle and the Minecraft socks. So, but they'll be nice and cozy, and I'm sure they'll be well appreciated. So, those are it. I'll try not to sniff too much. Yeah. Like I said, I am a slow knitter. Well, I mean, I view myself to be a slow knitter. So, um, so I decided too. Um, so those are my only FOs. I mean, surprise, surprise. Um, decided to try and do socks two at a time. So what I'm doing is I'm working on these socks, and yeah, let's move that. Okay, these are what I like to call the Skype socks. Well, the thing is, the pattern's actually called. Let's see, did I? My apologies to the designer of these socks. 'Cause let's see if I can get them back. Yeah, Adrian Koo. No, now she named them after an abbreviation she found that creates the little cross pattern that happens, in this section, and it's SKYP. Now the thing is, I spend a lot of my time on Skype, so I just call them my Skype socks. Now what I've been doing is like I started the cuff on one, and then because I've got another set of needles, I do the cuff on the other one, and now I'm working on the leg of this one. And when I'm done this, I'm gonna head over and do the leg of the other one. So it's kind of two at a time ish. So because I do get second sock syndrome, I really do. Um, about a year ago, so I was on Skype, and one of the people who were in the room, um, they noticed I was knitting. Like, what are you knitting? Oh, I'm knitting a pair of socks for a birthday gift. She goes, well, my birthday's in September. Yeah, a a hint as subtle as a train wreck. So I asked, okay, well, what colors do you like? What size is your foot? And that kind of thing. So, so she liked blue, and her foot was a little bit, a fair amount smaller, two sizes smaller than mine. So, so I think, well, I'll kind of design a sock, just something a little bit different, because it is a birthday gift. Well, the thing is, I didn't take a picture of the socks before I mailed them off. So, what I did do is I knit up another pair and one that fits me. So, see that? Yeah. So these are called By the Seashore. And so because I've got the kind of like waves on the leg and then the textured pattern on top of the foot to represent the sandy seashore. Um, anyways, you can find this pattern on Ravelry. Um, I've only knit one of these. Yeah, I need to get on to knitting the second one of these so I can actually wear them. But hey, you only need one to actually take a picture of and put the pattern out. And apparently, I'm not the only person to have designed a pair of socks based on one, like just knitting the one sock. So, anyways, so in order to try and perhaps speed up my knitting and to avoid the second sock syndrome, I decided to knit, in addition to knitting two pairs. In addition to knitting two socks concurrently, I decided to use the magic loop method and do two socks at the same time. The thing is, I forgot one very, very important thing, is that my gauge is a lot looser when I'm using magic loop method. So the person that would be getting these would have fairly loose socks. The thing is, I measured them across, and in order for them to fit his feet, the socks need to be 4 inches across. Um, yeah, these are about a third inch wider. And now a lot of you, might just say, well, it's not too bad, but really, they will be too loose on him. So I have to rip back. Now, the bonus part about this is, lesson learned, but it also means that when I redo the socks again, I will be using less amount of stitches, so actually the socks will go a little bit faster. So yay! Yay on that one. Okay. Now I gotta show you this. This is I keep these guys in my project bag that I made. You see that? Look at that. Where the wild things are. Now the thing is, I found this fabric on when I was on a holiday, and yay, they are having a sale at the time, and so I bought a couple of meters, and then I'm just sitting there going, I've not seen this fabric since, like I've never seen it before, and this is awesome fabric, because it's an awesome book. So I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, you know what? Before the sale ends, I have to go back and buy some more. So I did. I bought another couple meters of this fabric, and I'm really, really glad I did. Um, so I decided to make myself a bag out of this, and it's a nice size for socks or smaller projects kind of thing. Um, and I've given one to a friend, and she says it's good to, if you're knitting on the go, to hold. If you're just sitting down, the handle's long enough that it flops over and out of the way. Um, and then comes that, you finish making your bag. I think this is like one of my first bags that I made. That awkward moment when you finished it and your son comes up to you and says, Mom, you forgot to put on the handle. So yeah, this is like one for me because normally I put the handle in the seam. No, this is just kind of attached on the side. But yeah. But anyways, the the second of the 2 meters that I bought of that fabric went to a crib sheet, and because my daughter had mentioned that she was going to get some really nice crib sheets. And I said, well, I don't need to do that. I'll just make some because I've got fabric galore. So I did, and one of her friends who had had a baby a couple months earlier went um, went into the nursery and saw the Where the Wild Things Are crib sheet, and she's like, "Where did you get that?" My daughter, you know, replies, my mommy made it for me. So if nothing else, um, you know, I was able, at least I was able to do that for my grandson. So yes, I am a grandmother, twice over, in fact. So, yeah, my daughter a while ago, I think it was when I was doing up the crib sheets, that she said to me, she goes, when I was growing up, I really didn't appreciate your craftiness. I do now. So, if you've got young kids and you like to knit things, or even just knit things, sew things, whatever, embrace it, because eventually they will appreciate it, which is kind of cool. Let's see, what else? What else have I been working on? Now, the thing is, I do have I have a lot of projects on the go. I am a process knitter. I love just knitting. I love casting on. finishing things, casting things off. There's not exactly one, it's not one of my fortes. So, if you don't mind, just ignore that sweater in the background that's kind of been languishing for some love because it's not going to get any um, for a while, any. Because what I'm doing is I'm going to show you the projects that I have shown a bit of love over the last week or so, or since the last podcast. And this is my Hitofure, and uh, I've decided that I want it a lot longer than what the pattern calls for. So I've got enough yarn to easily do this. So it's going to need a lot more love. In fact, I was hoping to have this done for my trip. So this actually may be knitting the knitting I'm going to do while in the plane. Maybe we'll have to see about that one. Okay. Um, let's see if I can find the other one. No, I can't. Anyways, um, back to Operation Sock CPR. This is Osterman Step. Really nice yarn. I love the colors. Look at this. Look at this. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors like oranges and yellows and pinks and purples and oh my goodness. And the sock yarn is just so nice and soft and it's got aloe and jojoba oil in it. And I don't know why. I have no idea why this, like I've even actually had to rip this out a couple times like just because I just wasn't happy with it. So I decided that last night during a VKN that I was going to decide on a pattern and I was going to stick with it. And these are going to be. Oops, can you see that? Uh, maybe not. Anyways, these are going to be the Mojo socks. So, let's see what else. Wow. No, that weird face I just made, I just ripped off half my fingernail, but I have no idea on what. Anyways, on the radar, on the radar is, I found this book at the library, Monster Knits for Little Monsters. And seriously, does this not look like Yoda? So, and I really would like to tell you the name of the author of this book, but I will really royally mess up this person's name. And that would be really, really insulting because technically I hate it when people mess up the pronunciation of my last name. And so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it to somebody else. Now, um, let's see what else. What else do I have? Yes. Because I knit a lot of socks and which means I have a lot of leftovers. So the question comes down to what do you do with all those golf ball sized balls of yarn you have left over from all the socks you make? Well, um, oh, when was it? About 2008 or something? There was a contest on, I found online, and yeah, 2008. I found online this crazy sock contest, and I I entered because at that time, I hadn't been knitting socks a long time, but I had enough little leftovers of sock yarn. So I did this, and I knit the. Okay, Rainbow Socks by Suzanne Kitzman. And the sock yarn is done in short rows, so you end up with the sock yarn in wedges. The each shape is wedges. Now, originally the sock yarn is designed to do with just a single sock yarn, but what I did was each wedge was a different sock yarn. Well, I won, of course, and got all kinds of goodies. Um, my oldest daughter promptly stole the sock yarn or stole the socks made out of these crazy socks. Because I'm being inundated with lots of little leftovers of sock yarn, I decided to make her another pair. So I've got this, and this is just toe up, fleagle heel, and that. Now, you're probably wondering, and your answer to your question is yes. There are a lot of ends to these socks. And I'm thinking that the weaving in these ends is almost as time consuming as knitting the socks because nobody I know likes to weave at ends. And yes, I do realize that some of you um, took a look at that and just got the heebie-jeebies because because random socks like that just don't do it for you. And I should mention, if you can tell, that um, both socks are going to be completely different. But my daughter will love them. I know this for a fact. So, let's see. Crazy Dog Yard News. I came up with a couple new self-striping colorways. I really like self-striping colorways. I do a few variegated and tonal and semi-solid kind of colorways, but my heart is really drawn towards the self-striping. So this is I Dream in Technicolor. Look at that. That'll be in the shop very, very soon. And then this one is um, Mama Dresses Me Funny. So that one I just wound up last night. So that'll be in the shop very soon. Um, let's see. Okay. You can find all the patterns and links to various things that I mentioned on my blog, which is the Transient Knitter .blogspot.com. And so anything I mention, hopefully I'll remember to hand that to put a link to those there. So once again, yes, you can find me as the Fiberholic on Instagram and Ravelry. So don't be afraid. Send me a message, say hi, add me as a friend. Hey, I don't. Um, you know, one of the things is like, hey, I don't have a quota on the amount of friends. I'll take all the friends I can get. So, anyways, um, I will talk to you soon, and take care for now. Okay, bye.